Have you ever had a problem with your data store saving and I don't know, it doesn't load properly, it doesn't save properly or anything like that? Well, I've actually found a module and it's not really a new thing, it's from 2020 and I've actually heard of this before but I never used it and I doubt some of you even know how this works, if you even heard of it. So I thought to showcase it today to show you how it actually works, and I will link this whole dev forum post in the description. So if you guys want to read this whole thing, you have a code example even. As always, before we start, leave a like and subscribe, and also check out my Patreon. But let's first grab the module, so it's open source. There's also a GitHub link if you want that, but I will go to the Roblox library, and once we open that, just get the model. And there's even a donation link, so if you want you can donate to the developer of this, which I will actually do. So, oh, I don't have enough. Okay, well, let's donate 10 then. And this is actually a pretty cool looking place too. Okay, but that whole thing is besides the point now, so hop into the studio, open your toolbox, and we will then insert a profile service model, and it's a module script, and you can just put it, I don't know, I will put in server script, and let's just make a server script because we will actually be using that. I'll rename it DataStore, and you can put the module script of the profile service inside of the server script. And what you want to do is actually require this module script first. And if you don't know how module scripts work, I actually released a video on that recently, so you can go check that out. Okay, but anyways, first you want to require this, and then you need a key, so you'll create a data key, and that key can be, I don't know, player data 1. And then we need profile store, and that will be equal to ProfileService.getProfileStore. And open up this, and inside will be data key, comma, and then do these brackets, and here you will put everything that you want to be inside of this. So cache, comma, and then we can put level, so we will start with level 1, and we can also do XP since we have a level. Oh, okay, I seem to be missing a comma here. So everything here will be default, so when you spawn in, the default cache will be 100, the level will be 1, and the XP will be 0. Now we need to do local profiles, and that will be equal to empty table, and this will be just for tracking the players' profiles. And now we want to do is game.players, or actually let's make that a variable, maybe even above this. So local players equals, and let's just use get service. It kind of looks nicer, I don't know. So then players.player added. You need to connect that to a function, and then we get our player that has just joined the game. So then we need to load their profile, so local profile equals profile store colon load profile async, and then we can do player underline and then dot player dot user ID, and after that we can do if profile, oh my bad, if profile, then profile, we then do add user ID, player.user ID. Then we need to do profile, bro, I keep typing this, let's just copy this, okay. So I can just copy and paste it. Then we do reconcile, and what this does, it just ensures that we have all the necessary data. And then we can do profiles, do these brackets, and then player, and that will be equal to profile. So basically we store the player's profile inside of the profiles table using a player. So then we can check the profile just by using the player's name or the actual player. And then what we can do is player, then set attribute, cache, comma, profile, bro, I keep writing this, okay, profile.data.cache, and you can then just copy this, and we will do it for each of these. So then level, and then XP, then just copy this, paste it here, copy this, paste it here. And one more thing we can do, let's just add a print so we know if it actually works, just in case I mess something up. So I can then do a player has loaded a profile, so we know that the profile loading works. Then we do a task.spawn and insert a new function, and we can write while profile and player.parent do profile.data.cache. So while the profile and the players exist, that will be equal to player get attribute cache. And again, you can just copy and paste this and change the values to level and XP. And then you can just do profile colon save, or if I could type that would be amazing. currently this will save like each second, and that could be overwhelming. So what we can do is stats.wait, and then you can put like, I don't know, 120 or maybe even 60 seconds, depending how long you need to wait before it saves again. So each 30 seconds it will save the data that has been updated. And back to this if profile, then we need to make an else if statement, or actually just an else statement. If the profile doesn't exist, I don't know, we can then maybe kick player, because we'll to load I don't know, .player.name. So if the game can't load the player's profile, something has gone really bad, really wrong. So then we kick them just to let them know that they need to rejoin. Otherwise we would mess up the whole data, and that wouldn't be that great. Okay, so that's it for this whole function, and now we can continue. So again, get our players .player removing, because we need to actually save the data. And then we need to connect the function, again add the player, local profile equals profiles, and then do these brackets and get the player. And this time we can just load this because the player is exiting the game, so it already is inside of the profiles. And if the profile exists, then profile, oh actually we can just copy all of this. So just copy all of that, paste it down here, and after that do profile release. And what this does, it will basically like let go of this profile, so it will remove it from this table, and it will save the data. And then again the profiles and then inside the player, and put that to nil. And one more thing we can do is game bind to close, and then function. So this is kind of a safety feature if the server is shutting down or something like that. If there's like an update, so the players don't like, I don't know, mess up their memory and cache and stuff like that. And then we can do for underline comma profile in pairs, and then just do profiles, do profile release. So again, if you don't understand what this does, basically if you're shutting down the game, or if you're like updating it, it will shut down all the servers, and before that happens, it will just save and release all the profiles from the players, so they don't need to worry about losing any data. Okay, so that's it, this is the whole script. And one more thing before this can actually work, go to the home tab, go to game settings, security, and make sure you have enabled the studio access to API services. And let's now test if it works. Okay, as you can see in the output, ErExx master has loaded the profile. And now if we click on the players and then drop down and get to my player, and then go to the properties, and down here we can see cache, level, and XP. And if we go to the server side and again select my player, we can edit this. So let's say 200 cache, XP, I don't know, 350, and level 2. And now if we close the game, when I rejoin, it should all be the same as when I left. And as you can see, it saves correctly. I have 200 cache, level 2, and 350 XP. Okay, well this is great and all, but you might be asking yourself, we don't actually have leader stats, it's just an attribute of the player. So now I will show you how you can actually make it have a leader stats, and also folders inside of the player which have more folders in case you have like an inventory or something like that. So again, if you're happy with just having attributes, you can click off the video, you can go watch another one of my tutorials. But if you want leader stats, I will now show you to you how we can make it, and you will need to edit the script. So first of all, up here, let's for example add an inventory. So that will be equal to an empty table. Of course, don't forget the comma. And we can also have stats. So stat will be equal to table, but it won't be empty this time. I don't know, we can have strength to be equal to maybe 10, speed to 20, and then I don't know, stamina equals 50. Okay, so we have inventory, we have some stats with strength, speed, and stamina. And now go down here and we will make a new local function. We can name it create leader stats. And now this is a pretty standard leader stats script, so I won't really be explaining anything much here. I have a video on that, so if you want in-depth analysis on how this works, you can go check out my other video. Okay, and when we are done with that, we need to create another function, create player folders, then put player inside, of course. And this is again a pretty standard thing. I will just create new instances, rename them folder. We can do data folder, copy that, put it here. And then, I don't know, we can just do player data, and of course parent it to the player. Then copy this again, create a new folder again. This will be for our inventory, and then copy it again, and this will be for our stats. And now the final thing we need to do, strength, which will be equal to, we can do int value again, and then stats folder. And then of course just copy this for all the stats that you have. Okay, and after that, when we have our create leader stats and create players folder, we need to go back here at the player added. And then we will need to change a few things, mainly in this section down here. So we can actually delete this because we won't be using attributes anymore. Of course, if you want to use some attributes, that's totally okay. You can just leave that part. And first what we need to do is create leader stats, then we add a player, then create players folder and again add a player. Then we'll find the leader stats we created. And then we will pair this cache value to the data cache, or actually not pair it, but like change it to the data.cache, and then you can copy paste them and just rename this into level and XP. And then we will do the same thing for the stats folder. Oh, actually, my bad. I changed the wrong thing, so leave that stats. Here the stamina, and here speed. My bad for that. And then last thing we need to do is get the inventory. And now this depends on how your inventory works, but I will assume you use like a string value or something like that. So item name in pairs, or actually we need to use ipairs profile.data.inventory. And we can just do local item equals instance dot new, and then the string value item dot name equals item name, and then item dot parent equals inventory folder. Or actually we can just cut this and paste it here, so when you're making a new instance you can just put the parent here and it will automatically parent it. And now down here we need to edit this a bit, so delete all of this if you're again not using attributes. So do one of these for cache, and then I will just copy and paste it a bunch of times. And then here we need to actually add stats, and then dot strength, and here we need to change it into stats folder. Okay, and now that I'm thinking about it, I maybe shouldn't have made so many of these values, because it's not really that important for this tutorial to work properly. I just did it so you can get an understanding that you can save as many values as you want. And now for the items, we need to do local items equals empty table, and then for underline, comma, item in ipairs, inventory folder, get children, do table.insert, and then we do items because that's a table we will insert it into, and then item.name. And then just last thing, profile.data.inventory equals items. Well, actually it's not really last thing, we also need to edit this for proper saving. So again, delete all of this. And actually let's just copy these things, so things like leader stats, stats, and of course inventory as well, because I really don't want to type that again. If a leader stats, then actually let's just copy this again and then just paste it, or actually not else if, because that would not work like it's supposed to. Do another if statement and then just go back up here again and copy this and then paste it down here. Do another if statement for inventory, and then this time I'll literally just copy this again and paste it down here, and the rest of this we can just keep it as it is. Okay, we seem to be having an error, and I actually understand why that is. Oh, and I somehow completely missed this. I don't know how this happened. Okay, just revoke this a bit. I don't know how I copied and pasted that wrong, so we need to again copy this because then it's wrong here. Yeah, okay, that's kind of funny. And for this error, value of type nil cannot be converted to a number. Okay, we have strength here. We have strength here. Okay, oh, okay, I mistyped it here, so let's just fix that. Type strength here, so it's wrote properly. And now when I join, we don't have any errors. So as I was saying, we can open up the player data. It has every stat, and it also has inventory. And so now let's go to the server side to just change some of these things up. I won't change leader stats because I've already shown that. Let's put speed to 100, strength to, I don't know, 500 and stamina to 600. And let's also add a string value to the inventory, and this can be, I don't know, wood, and we can duplicate it, and actually let's rename it as well. Or actually then we don't need to, we can like put a number here. Yeah, I don't know why I did it like that. We can put rock and put that we have 5 of those. Okay, so we go back to the client side, it's all there. And now let's rejoin the game. And when I rejoin back, okay, we have everything, but these didn't save, which is a bit of a problem, but these values did save. So let's see what's up with that. Okay, so now to fix it, go back here, remove this underline, do item name, and instead of this item name, do item value. Copy this, do item.value equals item value. And then the last thing we need to change is going down to this line, table.insert, and instead of that, do items, open brackets, and then do item.name equals item.value. Then you can just copy this and paste it down here as well. Actually, we need to do one more change. This wouldn't work, so do just pairs here as well. So when you replace iPairs with the pairs, you can also replace this with an int value, because if we kept it as string value, it just doesn't really make sense. So let's now rejoin the game. Okay, we don't have anything in the inventory. Let's go to the server side and add a int value. We can rename it wood and then put, I don't know, file. Rename this one to rock, do 2. And now when I join back, let's see, okay, we don't have any errors, so okay, and it seems to be working. We have 5 wood and we have 2 rocks, so we've succeeded in saving everything, inventory, stats, and the leader stats with the profile service. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. You can also check out my Patreon, I have tons of models and stuff in there. Or if you just want to support me, it's a great way of doing it, because while supporting me, you also get tons of models that I make in these videos. Thanks for watching.